C'est pas mon style. Moi, j'ai trouvé un style une bonne fois pour toutes et je m'y tiens.
Et ça...
Mes robes ne sont pas démodées en 3 jours. Parce qu'il y a des couturiers qui font des robes 3 jours après, elles sont démodées, mon cher. Pas possible, ça.
All right, so you're in Paris, standing in front of 31 Rue Cambon, the legendary home of Coco Chanel. But here's the first twist. It wasn't actually her home. Despite having this gorgeous, over-the-top apartment, Chanel never slept here. Nope, she preferred the Ritz, just a few blocks away. Why? Well, when you're Coco Chanel, you get to live by your own rules. This apartment wasn't about sleep. It was about style, power, and secrets. So, get ready because we're about to step inside a place that isn't just an apartment. It's a time capsule of Chanel's world. And if these walls could talk, oh boy, they'd have some stories to tell. The architectural layout, a reflection of Coco's aesthetic. Let's start with the layout of Coco Chanel's Paris apartment. And spoiler alert, it's not what you'd expect. You'd think someone as rich and powerful as Chanel would have a bedroom, right? Nope, not a single bed in sight. This woman had an entire luxury apartment but chose to crash at the Ritz every night instead. It's like owning a Rolls-Royce but taking the bus to work. But Coco Chanel wasn't just anyone. She designed her apartment like she designed her life. Unconventional, dramatic, and with absolutely no room for anything as boring as sleep. This place was her stage, not her sanctuary. Every room was carefully arranged to impress guests, spark creativity, and flex a little. Her main salon? Think Parisian elegance meets Hollywood set design. There were gilded mirrors, massive chandeliers, and enough art to make the Louvre jealous. And those sofas? Perfectly positioned for deep philosophical conversations, or for Chanel to casually drop a savage one-liner. And here's a little secret. Everything in her apartment had a purpose. No random junk drawers, no IKEA assembly nightmares, just carefully chosen pieces with meaning. The lacquered screens, they reminded her of her childhood obsession with Asian art. The animal sculptures? They weren't just decorations, they were her good luck charms. Chanel was super superstitious, like Taylor Swift and the number 13 level of superstitious. So, while Chanel never slept here, her apartment was still very much alive, a curated masterpiece where every piece told a story. And trust me, we're just getting started. The mirrored staircase, Chanel's throne of shadows. In the heart of Chanel's apartment, there exists a staircase like no other. A shimmering labyrinth of reflections, an optical illusion crafted for both beauty and power. This was no ordinary staircase, no mere path between floors. This was Coco Chanel's throne of invisibility, her personal hall of mirrors, her iron throne. That's if the Game of Thrones battles were fought with silk, pearls, and cutting remarks. The walls, lined with mirrors, caught everything. The flick of a model's wrist, the hesitant nod of a buyer, the wide-eyed admiration or barely concealed horror of an elite guest. And in the shadows, unseen, sat Chanel herself. Perched on a step, shrouded in mystery, she observed them all. Silent, calculating, deciding. She was fashion's omnipresent deity, watching from above, her gaze as sharp as her wit. And here's the twist. The staircase didn't just serve as her personal spy nest. It became a muse. If you've ever looked at the sleek, geometric stopper of a Chanel No. 5 bottle, you've unknowingly gazed into the soul of that very staircase. The sharp angles, the precise lines. Chanel bottled her own architecture, a perfect blend of form and function, proving once again that nothing in her world was accidental. So the next time you spritz on Chanel No. 5, remember you're not just wearing perfume. You're carrying a whisper of that mirrored staircase, a relic of the woman who saw everything before anyone else did. The salon, where Coco read the room, literally. Once you step inside Chanel's salon, you'll quickly realize this wasn't just a room. This was a statement, a mood, a carefully curated shrine to elegance, power, and a little bit of mystical enigma. Forget feng shui. Chanel had her own cosmic interior design rules, and she played them like a grandmaster. Everywhere you look, symbols whisper their secrets. A lion stands guard, regal and fierce. No surprise there. Chanel, a proud Leo, believed the mighty lion was her protector, her cosmic bodyguard in a world full of copycats and critics. Camels and deer dot the room, watching over guests like a Chanel-approved Illuminati. Why? Because Coco believed in the power of symbols the way modern influencers believe in manifestation. If good vibes could be sculpted in gold, she had them in spades. But let's talk about the vibe of this room. The walls? A deep, moody lacquer, reflecting the flicker of candlelight like something out of a film noir. The furniture? Sumptuous, dramatic, positioned just so, as if each chair had been briefed on its role in Chanel's ongoing social theater. This was a room designed for conversations that could change your life, or at least your wardrobe. If these sofas could talk, they'd have stories that could make page 6 blush. And let's not forget the mirrors. Oh, the mirrors. A room full of them, bouncing light, doubling images, making everything feel infinite. If Chanel had a superpower besides revolutionizing fashion, it was turning a small space into a kingdom. The salon wasn't large, but with all those reflections, it felt infinite, like stepping into Chanel's mind, where everything shimmered with possibility. So was the salon just a living room? Hardly. This was a carefully arranged constellation of objects, a place where art, power, and superstition danced in perfect harmony. It was a stage, a sanctuary, and a declaration. I am Chanel. Welcome to my world, try not to touch anything. The influence of Chinese Coromandel screens, Chanel's obsession, partitioned. If Chanel's apartment was a kingdom, the Coromandel screens were the crown jewels, except she didn't display them like trophies. She collected them the way Taylor Swift racks up Grammys. At least 32 of these intricately carved, hand-lacquered masterpieces stood guard around her apartment. That's not home decor. That's a full-blown addiction. But of course, Chanel didn't surround herself with pretty things for the sake of aesthetics. These screens weren't random decorations. They were dream catchers, capturing ideas and reflecting them back in glossy, painted perfection. Each panel told a story, and each motif whispered inspiration. Dragons danced between delicate branches, birds perched beside blooming flowers, and somewhere within this lacquered wonderland, Chanel saw her brand taking shape. And here's another secret, the camellia flower. One glance at the screen's delicate blossoms and Chanel found her groundbreaking muse. Clean, symmetrical, and effortlessly elegant, the camellia became her signature. No thorns, no overpowering scent, no fuss. The floral equivalent of quiet luxury, long before Instagram turned that term into a hashtag. Chanel didn't just admire it. She claimed it, stamping it across brooches, handbags, and runway looks for decades to come. And here's the most interesting part. Chanel didn't treat these screens like fancy wallpaper. She built her life around them, arranging them into partitions, creating shadowy corners and intimate nooks. It's a miracle she didn't fashion one into a walk-in closet. But that was Chanel. Never passive, always curating. To her, Coromandel wasn't a style choice. It was a philosophy. It turned her apartment into something between a stage set and a sanctuary, where creativity bloomed as vividly as the lacquered branches on her beloved screens. So, the next time you spot a Chanel camellia, remember, it's not just a flower. It's the echo of an obsession. Proof that when Coco fell for something, she didn't just appreciate it. She wore it, designed it, and branded it into history. Personal artifacts, love, friendship, and a dash of vanity. Chanel's apartment wasn't decorated. It was armored, a fortress built from memories, mementos, and the kind of gifts you get when your address is synonymous with power and style. Every shelf, every tabletop, and every strategically placed trinket has a backstory juicier than a tabloid headline. It's less home decor, more receipts. Take the golden sculpture by Alberto Giacometti. Yes, that Giacometti, the guy whose spindly figures sell for millions today. He didn't just hand out golden sculptures like party favors. This one was personal, a gleaming testament to his friendship with Chanel. It wasn't just art, it was a golden I get you from one creative genius to another. Imagine being so iconic that world-famous artists give you custom gold statues as a casual thinking of you gift. And then there were the books, piles of them stacked like intellectual trophies. Plato, Voltaire, Balzac. Chanel didn't just design fashion. She consumed philosophy like it was gossip. And honestly, It probably was gossip to her. Scattered among the objets d'art were personal gifts from past lovers, each one a souvenir from Chanel's trail of broken hearts. Jewels, sculptures, ornate cigarette boxes. It's like she invented the concept of the breakup box, except hers was worth more than most people's houses. But the real magic? Chanel didn't hoard these artifacts out of sentimentality. She curated them like she curated her life, with a sharp taste, a little arrogance, and a refusal to be ordinary. Every piece was a reminder, not of who she loved, but of who loved her. So when you picture Chanel lounging in her salon, surrounded by these golden keepsakes and philosophical tomes, don't imagine a nostalgic woman clinging to the past. Picture a queen surveying her spoils, perfectly content, perfectly untouchable. The iconic chandeliers, lighting, but make it fashion. If you ever wondered what luxury looks like when it hangs from the ceiling, look no further than the chandeliers in Chanel's apartment. These weren't your average light fixtures. No home improvement store on sale vibes here. These were dripping with crystals, gleaming with gold. And because this is Chanel we're talking about, absolutely on brand. Look closely, and you'll spot camellias nestled among the crystals, like Easter eggs for the fashion-obsessed. Not just decorative, but symbolic. Chanel's signature flower, thornless, scentless, flawless. Basically, the Beyoncé of blossoms. And of course, the interlocking C's were there too, hiding in plain sight. It's as if Chanel thought, why stop at monogrammed handbags when you can monogram the light itself? But here's the secret. These chandeliers didn't just illuminate the room. They illuminated Chanel's ego in the most fabulous way, of course. Imagine hosting guests for cocktails and casual world domination, all while standing under literal symbols of your own empire. It's giving spotlight, but make it subtle. And can you blame her? If you've built an empire from scratch, survived scandal, heartbreak, and 2 world wars, you deserve to sip champagne under a crystal reminder that you run the show. These chandeliers weren't just about lighting, they were about legacy. Chanel didn't just want to brighten the room, she wanted to own it. Conclusion: the lasting impact of Chanel's personal space. Coco Chanel's apartment wasn't just where she lived, it was where she ruled, quietly shaping the future of fashion from behind mirrored staircases and golden sculptures. Every camellia, every coromandel screen, every crystal-drenched chandelier was more than decor. It was branding before branding was cool. Today, Chanel's aesthetic still borrows from those very rooms, as if the apartment itself refuses to go out of style. It's proof that Chanel didn't just design clothes, she designed a world, and it's still shining, shimmering, and monogrammed with those famous C's long after she's gone. That's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next episode.